Hi guys, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Depending on the time you're watching this video, alright, it's Maverick once again. It's Maverick once again. So welcome to my space, and in today's video we'll be looking at something very interesting. Alright, I'm going to be showing us how to create the design just as you see on your screen shortly. Alright, so how to create this design, alright, exactly this design. Alright, so I'm going to show you the exact template I used, the exact elements, the exact method, and everything. I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to come up with this. And the disclaimer here is that this is not limiting your creative ability, your creative dexterity. Alright, this is just a guide to show you how you can become creative when designing. Alright, so when designing, you have two options. If you want to get something exactly like this, then you stick with what I'm going to show you. But if you want to explore your creativity, then this is just a guide. You can go beyond what you're going to see here, add your creativity, your unique touch or spice to your own design, and come up with something creative, wonderful, and awesome. Alright, so as my custom is, I wouldn't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to dive right into business. So basically, I already have my elements, alright, imported. So these are the elements we'll be using because of this design. So I'll just hide them briefly, and whenever we want to use them, we would unhide them and make use of them. So the first thing we're going to do now and here is to change the background. So we'll come over here to change the background, alright, the color of this background. So our color code, remember, in one of my videos I told you how I generate color code. Alright, so after trying different things and then I'm satisfied with one, that is what I go for. I don't generate for my head. The app gives me the color code, alright, of that particular color I'm using. So the color code that we're going to use is 051183. 051183. Alright, so here it is. Okay, so this is the color we're going to be using in the course of this design. And I wouldn't go my usual way. Alright, most of you might know I would just import my text, arrange my text before going to the background, but then I'll be starting my background here and now. So the first thing we're going to do is to unhide the first element we're going to use. So this is a very important element to us, a very important element to us. We're going to be making use of this in this design. So basically, how did we achieve this feeling we see here in this design? It is not rocket science. It's not something that you cannot think of. All right, you can manipulate it in different ways, but if I don't show you how exactly this was done, you might not be able to know. If I tell that a leaf was what was used to do to create this feeling in this background, would you believe? You might not have believed. All right, so it's just your ability to recreate and become creative. Alright, so I'm going to show you how exactly this was done, and then we move straight up to creating the design. So let's start from this. So first of all, I'm going to expand my leaf. Let me see. I'm going to expand my leaf. Okay, what size is it now? Okay, so I think this is cool. So the first I'm going to do, the opacity for this leaf, we don't need it, so just reduce the opacity totally. You can see it's totally blank, but then we can still feel something, we can still move something. So what next do we need to do? We need to go to our shadow, which is enable our shadow. Yeah, you've enabled our shadow. So I want to make my shadow very blur. Alright, so 25 is the highest. I leave it at that. So I'm going to reduce the transparency for this my shadow. The transparency, alright, here. So no, it's too dark. Okay. So I prefer it this way, and I will leave it this way. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate this my leaf. So I look for rotate. Here's rotate over here. I'm going to rotate it to this angle. I'm going to rotate my leaf. Let me see. Of course, here. Okay, but let me leave it at -110. I'm going to leave it at -110. So what next do I need to do? I'll go to my 3D rotate and then manipulate it for my 3D rotate also. So what basically I'm just going to do here, I'm going to play with my x-axis rotation. So I'm going to rotate this, my x-axis, to give me something interesting. Alright, so what exactly am I looking for? I'm looking for something, let me see, something very interesting. Alright, so this is what I'm looking for. As you can see, this is what I'm looking for. So my x-axis has given me what exactly I want. Oh, is it that large? Why is it not moving? It's not selected. Why is this not moving? I'm taking my time. Oh shit. Why is this not moving? Shit. Why are you not moving? Is it my phone that's hanging? Alright, so let's move it the manual way. Let's move it the manual way. Okay, I think it's moving now. Oh shit. Hang on a bit. Let me know what exactly is happening. Okay, I think I do know. Okay. Aha. So pardon me. So you can see if I tap it here, it won't respond because I've enlarged it, and then the rotation made it past the normal, the length itself, right? So this is it. So anything beyond this boundary here, it won't move. All right, so here it is. So I'm going to rotate it again. I don't want it to be this way. I want it to be rotated the other way. Let's say this. Yes. So I'm going to rotate exactly. Yeah, awesome. So this is exactly what I want. This is the feeling I want to get. Let me reduce the size a bit so it can accommodate some things. No, if I reduce the size, then we won't see the exact effect we're looking for. Right, so let's leave it at this. Yes, exactly. So you can see this, Oh shit, what did we just do? Alright, so let's calm down a bit. Let's calm down, let's take it easy. Let's not be too hard on ourselves. Okay, so here it says adjust it again 110. Shit, 110. Then go to your 3D rotate my x-axis. Okay, it's ready at 89. So here I'm going to adjust it this way. Yes, I'm going to adjust it this way. So this is the feeling I want to give my design. This is the exact feeling I want to give this design. This is the exact feeling I want to give this design. You can see it, right? So I just place it somewhere here. Place it down here. And then what I need to do next is just to copy. Yeah, what I need to do is just to copy. As I copy, I place them in between. Let me move this downwards. Alright, so here, this stays here. Yes, this stays here. And then I copy this also again. I copy this. Where is it? Here it is. I copy this and then I place it here. As you can see, I place it here. Let me adjust this also. Okay, place it here. And then copy this one small. And then I place it here. Exactly. So you can see this is the effects that was created in the background. This was how we were able to create the effects in our background. So send it to the back so I can see what I'm doing. So send this to the back also so they don't disturb me. Send this to the back. Alright, so you can see this was how we're able to create the effects we see here. The effect you can see here, this was how it was created. This was how it was created. So let's quickly dive into what we have to do for the day. So I'm still going to reduce. I would select them one by one and still work on them individually, right? So it's a bit too visible, so I'll just reduce the shadow, reduce the shadow a bit, reduce the shadow a bit. Yes, so click on the next. Which did we work on? Okay, so let's work on this. Reduce the shadow also. The shadow, here it is. So that's what we worked on. So let's also send this to the back so it doesn't disturb us. It doesn't get to disturb us. So remove this to the back. Yes. So the next one we are going to work on is this. All right. So let's reduce the shadow of this. Here's what we've got exactly. So also send this to the back. Send this to the back. All right. So this is what we've got. We might not necessarily need to touch this one. All right. Let's just leave that. It's not a threat to us. So basically, let's now go on to our design. Let's go on to our design. So basically, my background, I would want to give my background kind of gradient feel. So just follow through. Click on gradients. So here, over here, we have this. We are going to change this color to the normal color we used. So our normal background color. So I'll go again to repeat the color code. The color code is 051183. 051183. Alright. So I'll also repeat the same color code here. But then after repeating the color code, I'm going to adjust it. So we'll see how it's been done. 1183. So now I'm going to adjust it to make this a bit darker. So you can see, just move it down here. You'll see the difference here. So this is what I want. So I'm going to, there's a feeling I'm looking for. I want it this way. Yes. So I want it to come from beneath. I want the darker shade to come from beneath. So you can see, let me make this more darker, a bit more darker. Alright, so this is exactly what I want. So you can see here's what we've got. Alright, so let's make progress. So basically what we are left to do now is, we've used 13 minutes, close to 14 minutes just on our background. Well, it's all good. So let's rush down the remaining one. Right, they are not hard. They are simple concepts we should be used to by now. So the first thing is to import our text, and what we are going to put here or edit here is the Millionaire's Guide. So all in block letters. Guide. Okay, I think I have here Millionaire's Guide. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to adjust the size. All right. We're going to reduce it and make it relatively small, chomic. All right. So almost negligible. All right. So 16 would be fine, and then we're going to change the fonts. The font Shaw used was Montserrat. All right, but a lighter variant, a very light variant. All right, so where is Montserrat? I'm going to use regular Montserrat regular. Yes, and then what I did here was I had to spread it. So spacing, I increase the spacing. Let me leave it as 40. 40 is quite fair. Yeah, so this was what was done. 40 is quite fair. Alright, so what I need to do is just to centralize this, and then move it upwards a bit. Alright, so let it just stay here for now. So the next thing we're going to do is let's lock all these elements so they don't get to disturb us. We are done with them. They will not disturb us. Alright, so the next thing we need to do now is to import another text. Right now we're going to write generate over. Alright, so we're going to work on this now, and definitely all the fonts used here, all the text used here were all Montserrat. Alright, so we're going to change this font now to Montserrat, and then the size also, we're going to change the size. So another variant of Montserrat was used here, another variant, semi-bold, and then let's increase the size a bit. Let's reduce the size. Okay, so let's leave it at 30. And then let's make it pop. So I'm going to apply shadow. Enable it. My default setting, usually, most times, not all the time, alright, is my opacity would be at 50. My blur radius sometimes would be at 2, sometimes would be at 1. Alright, so my offset most times is always -2. My Y set is always +1. Alright, so it's not really popping. I'm going to reduce the blur this time around. Where's my shadow? So reduce the blur. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave it at 55. Yeah, it's better now. So I'll leave it here. I bring it downwards a bit. That's fine. So we are going to make this italic. Go to style and then make it italics. Alright, or instead of doing this, rather let's just look for the italicized Montserrat. Alright, I think that would be better. Yes, there is. So I'll just look for it and then we make use of it. Semi-bold italic. Right, so here it is. So we just make use of this. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is now 2000 leads. So we edit this differently. 2000. Alright, so yes, my 2000. So what I'm gonna do here is just let's see a kind of how this called a busybody, something like that. So let me increase my size, or rather reduce my size, the size of this. So I'm going to reduce the size to 100. Alright, reduce the size drastically to 100. Don't worry, it will be bigger than this. Alright, so when we change to Montserrat, it will definitely become larger. And then before we do some manipulations to this, let me quickly change my font. So I used Montserrat. Alright, so I don't think it was that I used Montserrat. Okay, so I think it was the first one. Yeah, extra bold. Exactly. So this was the font I used, Montserrat Extra Bold. And what I did was, you would see over here that the texture of this 2000 did is different, very different. So what exactly did I do? I just did some touches to it. So before then, let me go to shadow. So I played with my shadow, I enabled my shadow. My offset shadow was -5. My white set shadow was +5. Yeah, so you can visibly and clearly see it. All right, so my radius, I didn't use radius. My radius was definitely 0, but then the color I used was a reddish color. So I'm going to give us the color code, and the color code thus 910,000. That's the color code. All right, so a red variant. So this was the color I used for that. And then another thing I did was I went over to my color itself. All right, so I made use of gradients, although the gradients were something else. So I just had to do some stunts, and I was literally playing with it though, but then I knew what I was doing. So I have 7 layers, basically 7 layers. So this is how many now? This is 6, maybe one more. Yeah, 7. So just set them. I'll tell us the color code for each of them. All right, so they have corresponding color codes for each side. All right, so basically the two extremes, they are white. So let's change this black to white. So just move this downwards. All right, so that's that for that. The two extremes are white. And then over here, the color code used here was F3. So just type F3, not FE, not FF, F3. Yeah, well, my phone is hanging. Not FE, F3. Yeah, so this was the color code I used. So I'm going to take this and tap OK. So this exact color code I used here was what I used here also. So I'm just going to change it quickly. All right, so the same color code, F3. So let's work on that, F3. So here is what we've got. Here is what we've got. All right, so the next one now, that's the third one and the fifth one. The color code I used for them were basically the same, and they were all white. All right, so they were all white. So take it to the extreme. Also. Take it to the extreme. And here we are. So for the center, the color code I used was a bit darker. So the color code is CE into 3 places. CE. Alright, so this is the color code I used. Alright. So here is the feeling I got, or here's the feeling I used. Alright, so this is the gradients I used for this my design, as you can see. So this is the gradients I used for this my design. So the same thing I did here applies to my lead. So all I need to do then, starting again, is just to do it for 2000, copy it, all the effects is being duplicated, so I just edit it and write my 2000, my leads rather. Alright, leads. So here it is, I just place it here. So we are making progress. So the next thing on our table is without paid advertisements. Without paid advertisements. So what we need to do now is to click on texts without paid. Without paid, everything in block letters, remember, without paid. All right, so we're going to change this. So sorry, so we're going to change this, and the size for this is going to be, let's increase it a bit. Let's increase it to 50. So let's leave this at 50 and go straight up to change our fonts. All right, we're going to use a different shade, a different variant of Montserrat. All right, it's going to be bold, but not as bold as the first one. All right, so we make use of this. So let's leave this here, and then the color I used here was orange. So I'm going to give us the color code for this. All right, so here is the color code. The color code is FFBD00. FFBD00. Yes, so this is the color code that was used. All right, so click on OK, and then it's changed. So what you need to do now for the advertisement is just to copy this and then edit it. Copy this and then edit it. So I'm going to edit this now. Advertisement. All right, so I'm going to increase this size a bit, or make it larger, just by them, just say 2, so 52. It's just fine. So let me take this upwards a bit, move this upwards. All right, so move it downwards a bit. Let's not be too close to the leads. All right, then move this upwards a bit. Don't worry, we'll come back to align them properly. All right, so I wouldn't forget that actually. So the next thing we're going to do, we are almost done with our design, is to import a square. Okay, no, I'm not going to use this method. I'm going to show us how to create a straight line. Yes, so I'm going to show us how to create a straight line from our Pixel Lab app using our Bezier tool. So how do you create a straight line? As you can see from here, let me bring it forward. You can see from here a straight line that separates the without paid ads and the other subtitle. So how do we create a straight line without making a square become a flattened rectangle? No, all you need to do is what? Come to your Bezier tool. All right, so after you've hidden your element to use for the background, just tap on it, and when you're tapping on it, none of the elements will be highlighted, and that's how you would get this. That's how you get these options. So when you tap on it, you get these options. So click on Bezier. After clicking on Bezier, what you're going to do, we want a straight line. So we're going to activate our grid. After activating your grid, I'm going to come over here where I see this magnet icon. I want to make my grid magnetic to the line. All right, so it doesn't shake. So I activate the magnet. So what I do is, you come over here. I'll explain how to make use of this your Bezier and Max tool in one of the videos. All right, so what do you come over here to move this? All right, so move this and set it here. Now you see that whenever these lines are touching, whenever these white circles are touching the lines, it shows an orange light, an orange color rather, to show it on the line. So what we need to do, we need to adjust this curvy line to make a straight line. And how do we do it? Come over here where you see this, yes, the second icon here. Now it helps you to draw or mark out whatever you want to do, right? If you want to make it curve line, a straight line, or whatever you want to form. All right, with this you can form a square, you can form a rectangle, you can form a triangle, you can form any shape you want to create. You can use this to create it. All right, so what you need to do after this is highlighted, make sure bring this line, make sure it touches the horizontal line here, and once it touches it, you would see it will be highlighted orange. That's to show you it is on the line. So click on this edge here, another pointer would come out. So make sure this pointer also touches this edge, this horizontal edge. So once it touches it, it will be highlighted orange to show you it's on the line. Now over here we have a straight line. So what do we need to do? We just need to expand it. All right. And how do we expand it? We come over here. Here where you have your two arrows pointing diagonally. So just click on it, and then you see scale. So we scale it. Yes. So scale to 220. Take it, and then we are going to reduce our stroke width. We don't want it to be very, very large. We want a tiny line that cuts across. So 2 is okay, and then we can now change our color to white. So let's change the color to white. So here is white. So when you click OK, you see that you have a straight line. So you can now deactivate your grid, and you would see your straight line. So you can see this is how to create straight lines using Bezier tool. All right. So one of the videos I'll explain that much better. I wouldn't go into details here so as not to make this video too long. All right. So I would show you how to master the use of Pixel Lab. Don't worry, you are definitely in the right place. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is the text underneath here. We're going to create the text. All right. Imagine you could generate your first 2K leads organically and build an audience that buys. All right. So that's the next thing we want to do. So click on text, and we're going to edit the text. Imagine you could generate your first 2K leads organically. All right, let me just take that first. Imagine you could generate your first 2,000 leads organically without, let me see what next, organically, and build an audience that buys. Okay. And build an audience that buys, and build an audience that buys, So imagine you could generate your first 2K leads organically and build an audience that buys, full stop. So this is what we need. We reduce the size. All right, so let me see. So reduce it. Let's leave it at 18. So reduce this a bit. All right. So let's change the color. Let's make use of this. And then let's change our font. Our font definitely is going to be Montserrat. So that's what we've been using. So to maintain regularity. Right, to maintain uniformity. All right, so this is what we're going to use. Regular. Make use of regular. So an audience that buys. Okay, so I'm going to do something. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to make every first letter of each word capitalized. Every first letter of each word capitalized. The first leads organically and build an audience that buys. Yes, so here's what we've got. All right, so remember, this is meant to be italicized. So let's make it italics. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, let's increase the size. Let me increase the size of the words instead. All right, so I'll leave it at 2. 2 is fair, then you'd see what I did here. 2000 leads organically was highlighted. 2000 leads organically was highlighted. So we're going to highlight that one, change the color, and then make it bold. Alright, we're trying to pass a message. We're trying to communicate. Alright, so we want the audience. The reason for this is that once the audience sees that, they should pause all other things and then try to know why that was highlighted. Alright, so that's the core message of this design. That's the core message of the design. Alright, so we're going to make this white. Make this white, and then we go on to making it bold. How do you achieve that? We go to our style, also highlight it, highlight the same thing. Yes, first 2K, and then organically comes here. What's that? Organically comes here. So just highlight it and then make it bold. Yes. So here's what we've got. So now let's align it. We're almost done with the design. Very simple, very profound. Alright. So let's bring it downwards a bit. Alright. So here is where we are. Let's still bring it downwards a bit. Alright, very important. So try to give your elements spaces to breathe. Alright, so your audience will not have to strain their eyes to see what you are trying to communicate. Alright, so the next what we're going to do is to bring in import a square and then transform it into a rectangle. Right, a very tiny rectangle. Alright, so just leave this here, put this somewhere here. Alright, so we don't need to bother about that, the whole space, because the icon would be on hiding, would cover for that space. So next thing we're going to do, let's change the color. Let's change the color of this. It's a color we've used, it's just the gradient. So what we need to do here is we're going to eliminate some stuffs here, eliminate them. So we're going to send this downwards. We're going to send this downwards, something like this, to have this feeling. So you can see we're going to move it upward a bit, so it can be visible. Alright, so you can see the feeling it has. Alright, so that's the need for doing that. So the next thing we need to do, alright, so we are already done with this design. So first of all, let me align them. So you need to align your design. I deserve some accolades. No, can't you see this? I truly deserve some accolades. You won't believe me. Oh. Yeah, let me feel myself. I deserve some accolades, right? So the thing is that the more you do it, the more you get used to it, alright. So even subconsciously, your processes are registered in your head, alright. Your processes, they are registered in your head, alright. I never used my grid tool, but my designs are well aligned. They are well aligned, alright. But as you are probably as you are just starting, do how to make use of your grid tool. Alright, I always make use of mine. Yes, I always make use of mine. But then most of the times it might just to be there wouldn't be a need for me making use, because I know my designs are aligned. But then just make use of them. Alright, so we are done with this. Why was this moved up? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is now to use our how to. So import a text, edit it, how to, and then let's go over to get the font that was used, and the font we used was I really can't remember, but I know the font definitely. No, not this. Catering free. Yes, catering free. So I'm going to increase this size. I'll increase it, just keep increasing till I get something that is clear and my audience will not need to stress their eye to see what is written. Because for this is a cursive font, so you just need to take all of those into details. Alright, so make sure it's very visible and your audience will not need to stress their eyes when reading your message. Okay, so we are making speedy progress. All right, so we'll be ending this video in a few minutes, and then I'm just going to make it pop. So I'll just use shadow effects. Yeah, I call it mine because it's mine. What I know is mine, what you understand is yours. That's how my mentor would always say. What he teaches is his, but what we understand is ours. All right, so I'm going to reduce this. So offset x negative 2, offset y positive 1. So that is it. But then I'm going to I would go beyond my normal. Yeah, for some reasons I'll go beyond my normal. All right, so there's something I'm trying to achieve. All right, so I think I'll leave it this way. Yeah, so can you spot the difference? If you can spot the difference, just spot it and then try to use it in yours. If you spot the difference between how this how-to was before and how it is now, you would know what exactly I did. So that's how to learn. All right, so try to know why anything and everything is done. All right, there's always a reason for everything. There should be a reason for anything one does. All right, so we're going to unhide this and make use of it now. All right, so basically let's bring this to the front. And then we're going to increase the size of this. So we'll place it here, reduce the size a bit. And place it here. We place it here. Still reduce the size. Place it here. Exactly. So this is what we've got. So let me send this to the side a bit. Okay. So our design it's ready as you can see. So basically what I just need to do is to adjust them and move some of these elements upwards a bit to adjust them. So I'm going to mark them how to. It's going to move. This is going to move. This is going to move. Okay, this is not moving. This is going to move. This is going to move. Yeah, so these are all that are moving. I want to adjust them upwards, so instead of me doing them singularly, I just mark them and move them at once. Yes, so reduce them, bring them downwards a bit. So here is where we are. So the next thing we're gonna do now is very, very simple. All right, so we just need to click on the link below to learn how. So you're going to duplicate this one, copy and edit it. Click on the link below to learn how. Click on the link below to learn how. Yes, So let's capitalize this. Okay. So bring this down here, and you see that orange is really not a good color on white because of the contrast. So basically I'm just going to change this to black. So change this to black. This is black over here, and then I reduce the size, make it a bit smaller. 15 would do just fine. So I go to my spacing and then remove the spacing I used before, make it normal, which is 0, and then I make this a bit bold. I make it bold. Yeah, I bolding it. So I position this properly on the rectangle. Position this properly on the rectangle. Okay. All right, so here is what we've got. So we've almost come to the end of today's video. So the next thing we need to do is just to import unhide our magnets, this, and then the arrow that points downwards. So what we need to do is just to rotate this a bit. Yes, rotate this like this, and then send it here upward. Right, so reduce this a bit, send it upward. Although I'm going to adjust it. Go to 3D rotate. Let's adjust this a bit. Why? I just play with it. I'm not going to give you exact measurement. So looking for something. Okay, so let me leave it this way, or better still, let me okay, yeah, exactly. So just rotate it and then send it here, somewhere here, and then reduce your opacity. All right, so let opacity be 30. Let your opacity be 30, or you could get creative, just do your thing, but then don't forget the basic principle we're applying. All right, so and the last thing we need to do is our arrow that directs our audience. So here it is, unhide it. We have lots of arrows here, so we just get to select the one we need, bring this to the front. So what you need to do is go to your crop, the arrow I'm looking for is where is it? Okay, I think this is it here, over here, this one. This is the arrow I'm looking for. So crop this, crop them. Yeah, so this is what we get. So you can see that it's still not on its own. So what we need to do to finish this guy is to go to eraser and erase the other guy. So increase this one. All right, so just carefully come here and tell this guy goodbye. Right, so we're left with this. We're going to change this to orange, change the color to orange, enable it, and here we go. So the next thing we need to do is just to position this properly over here. All right, it sends a pointer. Yeah, so you can see, make sure your design, every element your design should be able to communicate. Design is communication. All right, so here is how we were able to achieve this design. So go on, add your creativity and do something awesome. I'm rooting for you guys to your continued success. So till we meet again in the next video, stay jiggy, guys.